put it up in the air, looked underneath, and there's the oil pump belt dangling. The last 2 passes were with 0 oil pressure. We're working on Sugar Mama. Val should be making passes today. We'll be making passes today, Lord willing. I'll be making passes today with some new stuff. And we're cleaning out wheel wells and stuff so you can go out there and see that. That's what we're working on for today being Wednesday.
Burnout. Let's go racing.
There you go. I'm happy with that. She did a good burnout. Yep, totally fried. Perfect. Perfect. This is exactly what I wanted.
Couldn't have had.
Good night, man. After all those years, perfect burnout. That's why I was cheering. I go, woo! and then did everything right. So, all right. So there's your super slow pass.
Good job.
And now we'll just start leaving at a higher RPM. I'll look at all the data in it, and we'll start working on the tune-up. Good job, baby. Number 1. Well, it's still shaking there, so we're trying to figure out the tire. It's leaving fine. It went a little slower on the 60 foot because the pass before this it was 110, which is okay. And here is only 112. So I'll figure out what's going on there. But it shook so hard it shut the car off. So it just went, "Ooh, bu- 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 bu." And then can't put it, can't restart it until it's in neutral. So I just coasted down track. It's going fast enough to make it off the track. Well, I figured, I've always told Kyle he could drive the car. And now's as good a time as any. Even though because it's going to shake. It's going to shake on him just the same as it's going to shake on me. There's not much anything different. So, and then I can watch the car, look at it, and see what's going on, which I've never done before. I got to do the tune on it right now. Sugar Mama is
Ready to go.
ready to go. She messed up a little bit that time because she let go of the trans brake as she put it on the two-step. So it was really slow right there. So pick up there. And did you change anything or it's the same thing?
Just that.
What?
Well, I just raised the two-step up.
4,000?
She never.
Just
It's gonna
4,000
take.
now?
It's gonna take a lot of
gonna take-
RPM because it's
Yeah.
got, remember
That
we put a
can-
350 rear gear in.
Yeah, and the converter in this car is astronomically tight.
It's
So
gonna take a lot. As much as we can.
yeah, it's not the ideal combo right now. We'll explain that thing later.
Yep.
Kyle got to make his first 7-second pass, lifting slow, lifting at the 8th mile with the parachute out, went 7:38.
So really, the only reason I didn't even make a full pass was because I looked down and it's spraying transmission fluid out of it. So all of a sudden, I'm like, oh crap! Throw the parachute handle, and I go back over here, come to the end, and I try to start it, and it's like it's locked up. The transmission is.
I see there's oil all over the place. Shoot.
I believe that is the transmission because if I go to hit the starter, it's like trying really hard. So that makes me think something's locked up in the trans because it was running fine. It was running good.
You went 7:38.
How did it feel? It felt good. What was the 60 foot?
112.
Okay.
Okay, well, I guess I'll pull this thing back. Is it moving right now?
You can push it and move it, but it's not. You try to roll it over, it does nothing.
Okay, so here's the biggest problem we got going on right now. Kyle just made that pass. We went down there and it rolled over slow. We thought it was the transmission. Yes, the transmission's hurt. That's not really a big deal, believe it or not. But it rolled over slow. Got it back here, and we took. I looked underneath it. As we put it up in the air, I looked underneath, and there's the oil pump belt dangling. So I just ran back over to the data log, downloaded the data log, haven't even taken the hood off or anything yet, and go back and look at it, and it had no oil pressure from the time Kyle started it and drove up, did the burnout, and then made a pass on the car. That zero. The oil pump belt was off. It was just sitting there dangling. And then I would look back, and what had happened was when I shook the tire really hard, that the pass before that, it knocked the oil pump belt off it. I didn't even look at it or notice it. Didn't think there was anything happening because we didn't take the hood off to add any fuel because it didn't run long enough to need any fuel. I didn't look at the data. My bad, my problem. All this is my fault because I didn't have an oil pump safety. Yes, there is an oil pump safety that would have shut the motor off. No, I did not have it on. Yes, I'm stupid. I should have done that. Now I'm paying the consequences for it, so we're gonna start tearing into this thing and seeing if the old Revex and Maxima oil and prayers and eating your vitamins and working out hard pays off. So we're gonna start getting this thing tore apart, and I'll show you when we get to paying off and see what's going on. Now that's the upper bearing out of there. Oh, no, don't. So you have another one, or? Well, I got more of those in my trailer. I have rod bearings, so that one we'll just throw away. So that's got a bad bearing tang right out of the box.
Yeah.
Absolutely. The most expensive bearing on God's green earth. You cannot get any better bearing than that, period. And sometimes stuff happens. That is in every nitromethane pro modified connecting rod bearing, period. That's just FYI for some guys that say, oh, we're using the cheapest parts you can get. No, not at all. That is unbelievable. Unbelievable. So, but we shall see. We shall see. Lord willing. Special thanks to Kevin at KSR Performance for letting me steal this KSR screwdriver. Thanks, Kevin.
Bump it?
Mate, need you to just bump it. There's a bump button.
Yep. Ready?
Yep. Again. 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 All right. Halfway. All right. All right, that is 8 rod bearings Good go look. All right, I'd say we're just gonna take off this one. So I need a 9/16 and a 11/16, I think. Yeah, all right, so we're gonna have to put some main bearings in it for sure. Yep, gonna have to put some main bearings in it. That's bad. All right, well, here's the deal. You've seen how we were changing bearings down below. We had the issue with the oil pump belt being off. Here's the bearings. I thought we were good to go. I thought we were really good. It's like a miracle. And it is a miracle, actually, for how long this thing ran. Making, driving all the way back to the pits, driving up, doing a complete burnout. I mean, it's 7,500 RPM burnout, then making a full pass. I mean, it's a miracle. There's nothing really hurt. In fact, some of these bearings just didn't even look all that bad. Until you got to the very last bearing, which was the thrust bearing, and it is spun and it has welded itself to the crankshaft. So we're gonna go try to figure out how to fix this one last time. I hope. I guess we'll find out later. Alrighty, so here's the scenario. Because of my own negligence, I did not set up an oil pressure safety. Because it's been running like that for 3 years now, and I've never had a problem. Never even looked at it. 3 passes ago, I looked at the oil pressure. Everything's fine. It's like, okay, cool, sweet. The next pass, let's see. So I made that pass, and it shook the tire, and just came back, made a change, went out, made another pass, and it shook the tire. So I mean, you do a burnout, shook the tire. It's like, well, what the heck? Idled it back, came back, let Kyle make a pass. The last 2 passes were with 0 oil pressure. 2 passes, and because it's just not something you look at it and then you go, okay, everything's cool, and then you have an aborted pass. You don't really think too much about it because you didn't even have to add fuel to it. So it's broke. It's hurt. I'll show you all that stuff. So at one bearing, you just saw all that. So just giving you a little recap. We are loaded up. We've put the car on the trailer, and we are going to Advanced Cylinder Head, and they are going to help let us work in the shop, take the engine out of the car. I'm gonna go through the engine, fix what needs to be fixed, because it looks like the rear thrust bearing is the only problem really in the entire engine, I think. So we are going to get going right now. Val's going to go up and make her final 2 passes with Sugar Mama. We changed the transmission in that car. So what happened with that whole deal is we came here with a transmission that came with a car. Turns out it was not a good transmission. it did not have a trans brake in it, even though it had trans brake solenoid. Somebody actually physically put a trans brake solenoid on a transmission that was stock. And since we never tested it until we got here because we didn't need to test it, so we put in one of my transmissions, spare transmissions and converter, because my transmissions take my converter only, big shaft. So we put in one of my transmissions, which had a 184 first gear, so like a Power Glide first gear, and one of my 4,500 horsepower torque converters. And Val's car, leaving, the highest we could get it to rev up was like 3,500 RPM, and it literally took 6 seconds to drive all the way through first gear. It's that tight. That's very interesting thing. That is the difference between that transmission converter in 1,000 horsepower versus 4,500 horsepower. It takes 6 seconds just to drive through first gear when you got 1,000 horsepower. So, because we couldn't get it to rev up, you know. So anyways, so we took that transmission out, found a transmission here locally that had a trans brake, had everything that was nice. He cut us a really good deal on it, really appreciate that. National transmission, we really appreciate that. So we put that in last night at 1 o'clock in the morning, so that should be ready to go. Tested the trans brake, feels good, didn't roll through. It's got a 248 first gear instead of a 184, so it should be significantly different. So we're letting Val and Kyle hang out here and run the car 2 times so she can get her license. Hopefully, Lord willing, it'll be faster, and we're gonna go start working on this thing.
Alright, so we made that first pass for today. It made a little lean pop because it ran out of fuel, and she's got a little bit scared and let her out of the throttle, which is good. She should do that. So it was able to drive back. We put another 5 gallons in it, and we're gonna go up for pass number 2. Hopefully something good will happen. I don't know. Come on, man. So close.
Gotta get in the 9s, at least.
Yep.
I got on it.
The RPMs were up. Yep, that's
Okay.
good. Was that hiccup there? Was that you on the throttle, or was that?
No, I was.
It did it on
I
its
was
own?
full throttle the whole way, so.
Gotcha. So just had a little pop in there. We can fix that. That's probably as best as, I mean, we can probably put more power to it, but I don't know. That's probably gonna be as best we can do unless we can leave on more RPM. And that's why, and it tripped the tire. It did that time. I was watching it really close, and it tripped the tire on the 1-2 gear shift, and that makes me not want to put more power at it because then it might spin out there when it shifts gears finally. But
It did get just a little.
yeah, well that's
But
half
not-
the issue too, is that when you can't, you have to hit the tire at the line. You never hit it hard, otherwise it doesn't have enough momentum. And like you're leaving slow, and then all of a sudden it'll pick up the G meter. If you look at it in the data log, it'll pick up like once it actually starts coming into power, because it doesn't make any power at 3,500 RPM or whatever. So
Oh, we just need to get the licensing runs done
Yep.
today, and then Sunday we could.
so we need to do one more. Or is that it?
No, I need to do one more because the other one wasn't a full
Okay.
pass.
Well, we can see if we can get it this time. 9 seconds. Let's go. 9 seconds. 996 and a 5 at 141 miles an hour. 1.629. That is a 60-foot time. Yeah, it's really slow.
Herd of turtles, as your dad would say.
So, I don't know. We have the option too, because we're so limited. Like, you put it up on the trans brake and roll into it, and it only gets up to like 3,500. But 3,500 RPM, this thing makes 2 pounds of boost. So, we got our package over there from Scott over there at Torque Storm.
Thanks, Scott.
Yeah, thanks, Scott. That's got some pulleys in it, so I think what we're gonna do is step a pulley size down so we can leave on more boost and then get more boost down the track. I'll probably have to short shift 1-2 just because it chirps the tire pretty aggressively, but no problem. You can drive.
We'll give her a go.
She's a driver. She knows how to do it.
Give her a go.
That's right.